Hey there, roamers. Welcome to the Roam in Your Home podcast and YouTube channel, where we get to hear from full-time RVers, unpack their experiences, and learn actionable advice to help you roam in your home too. I'm your host, Jamie Williams. Thank you so much for being here. Buckle up, my friend. Let's get ready to go on an adventure together right now. Welcome back to the Roam in Your Home podcast, the show where we dive into the world of RV living with tips, stories, and insights from those who live it every day. I'm your host, Jamie Williams. Today's episode is going to be different from any episode that we've done before. It's a short episode, but honestly, one of the most important episodes that you need to hear. If this is your first time listening, welcome. I hope you'll listen to our other episodes where I interview full-time RVers and ask all the questions and get all the answers what we wish we knew before we started full-time RVing. I've had so many amazing guests, and you'll love hearing their stories. I learned so much and know you will too, so be sure to check out our past episodes. But as I mentioned, today's episode is going to be different from the others. I hope you listen, I hope you take notes, I hope you re-listen, and I hope you share it with others. This episode just may save your life. Last week, there was a tragic event in the RV community, and honestly, I can't stop thinking about it. I'm a subscriber to Drive-In and Vibe-In's email newsletter, and they just sent a link to their latest blog post on their website that they published on Monday, June 24th. It was breaking news about a Missouri couple, Gary and Mary Weaver, that were brutally attacked on June 19th at a Nebraska rest area on I-80. Randy and I have traveled I-80 many times, and most likely stopped at this same exact rest area. Dashcam footage from a nearby semi-truck shows a 22-year-old demanding keys to their Jeep, breaking into their RV, and brutally murdering Gary by stabbing him to death. Then he went outside and attacked Mary. The Hall County Sheriff's Office arrived on the scene to find the couple bleeding from their knife wounds and transported them to the Grand Island Hospital. It was there that Gary was pronounced dead, and Mary remains in critical condition. I just cannot get this out of my mind. This could have easily been us. I've been so upset about this. Literally sick to my stomach, and also in tears for Mary, who, if she survives now, has to live without her husband, and for their poor family who was devastated by this tragic event. I just keep replaying this in my mind, how they were probably having a wonderful trip, so excited for where they were going, just living the dream. This was a huge wake-up call for me. I'll be the first to admit that I am way too naive. I don't pay enough attention to my surroundings. I'm not prepared for an emergency. I am not ready to protect myself or my husband like I should be. Randy's much better about this than I am, but what if I needed to protect him? How could I live with myself if something happened to him because I wasn't prepared? This is just so upsetting to me. And the reason why I'm dedicating an entire podcast episode to it is because you'll hear in every single past podcast episode me asking every full-time RVer how do they stay safe on the road and if they've been in any scary situations. And in every episode, we all basically agree that none of us has ever had anything bad happen. There were a couple incidents where Patty and Shane from Gills on Wheels and Jason and Jen from No Sticks, No Bricks had their e-bike stolen, which is definitely awful, but in no case did any of the RVers I interviewed were ever in fear of their lives. While I certainly don't want to put a ton of fear in anyone considering this RV life, I also definitely don't want anyone not being prepared either. I want to keep things very real. That is the entire goal of this podcast. I want anyone who is thinking of starting this RV life to have all the answers, to hear the real life stories from full-time RVers about their real life experiences, so they can learn how to do this RV life without making a lot of the mistakes that we made. I always say that if I can help just one person, then it's all worth it. Well, I won't be able to sleep at night if I didn't tell you how important it is to be safe on the road. You can't even go a day without seeing some headline of terrible things happening to innocent and unsuspecting people, adults and children. I honestly cannot watch the news or read the paper. It just affects me way too much. When I do see a headline, I can't stop thinking about it. I have a very empathetic heart, which is a blessing and a curse for sure. When I opened up my email and saw this, it really hit home. I just had to make sure you're aware of what happened, but more importantly, I want to share ways of how to ensure that it doesn't happen to you. While RVing can generally be safe, there are specific precautions that RVers can take to reduce the risk of being attacked like Gary and Mary. Here are 15 tips to maximize your safety and help prevent you from being in a similar situation. Number 1, choose safe locations. Avoid overnight stays at isolated rest areas. Opt for well-lit, busy, and reputable campgrounds or RV parks with good reviews. Number 2, install security systems. Consider installing security cameras and alarm systems in your RV. Motion-activated lights can also deter intruders. Number 3, lock doors and windows. Always lock all doors and windows when inside the RV, especially at night. Consider additional locks or reinforcements for extra security. Number 4, stay alert. Be aware of your surroundings. If something or someone seems suspicious, trust your instincts and move to a safer location. Number 5, use safety apps. Use apps that will allow you to share your location with family or friends. Some apps also have emergency alert features. Number 6, keep valuables hidden. Keep valuables out of sight to avoid attracting unwanted attention. Number 7, personal defense tools. Consider keeping personal defense tools like pepper spray, a loud whistle, or a personal alarm within reach. Number 8, emergency plans. Have an emergency plan in place, know how to quickly exit the RV, and where to go in case of an emergency. Number 9, training. Consider taking self-defense classes to learn how to protect yourself in dangerous situations. Number 10, travel in groups. Whenever possible, travel with other RVers. There is safety in numbers. Number 11, regular check-ins. Regularly check in with family or friends, letting them know your location and plans. Number 12, engage with the community. Build connections with other RVers and campground staff. Being part of a community can provide support and additional security. Number 13, limit stops. Limit your stops at rest areas to daytime hours when they are more likely to be busy. Avoid staying overnight at rest stops if you can help it. Number 14, park strategically. Park in well-lit areas close to other RVs or buildings. Avoid parking in secluded or dark areas. Number 15, stay connected. Keep a charged phone with emergency contacts easily accessible. By taking these precautions, you'll maximize your safety and reduce your risk of becoming victims. It's impossible to eliminate all the risks, but being proactive and being prepared can significantly improve your safety while traveling in an RV. In addition to these tips, it's also important to think about some other things that are essential for keeping you safe on the road. You also need to think about weather preparedness. Be diligent about checking the weather and definitely get a weather radio. We recently purchased one, and honestly, no one should ever RV without one. The weather can change in an instant, and you don't want to be asleep and unprepared. And also, think about health emergencies. It's a good routine to get into to always look up where the closest emergency room and hospital is when you get to a new location. If you have animals, know where the nearest emergency vet is. Just get in the habit of looking these things up when you get to a new place and write them down and put them somewhere that everyone can easily find them. And also, it's a good idea to have a first aid kit, some medical supplies, and a fire extinguisher. But not only just have these things, but know how to use them. And if you have kids, teach them how to use them as well. If this episode even just has you thinking more about your safety and making it more of a priority like it has for me, then I've done my job. I know that Randy and I will definitely be making some changes as we travel. We've been full-time for 7 years now, and because we've never been in a bad situation, it's so easy to get lazy and lax about safety. Hindsight's 2020, and this is absolutely something that you don't want to learn the hard way. You will never regret being too safe, but you will never want to live with the regret that something bad happened because you didn't make the effort to be safe. But I want to hear from you. Do me a huge favor and let me know what you do to stay safe on the road. Do you have anything to add to this list? If you do, message me on Instagram or Facebook. I'll do a story and tag you with your suggestions. Let me know if this makes you want to be more safe and maybe add some of these tips to your routine. I really hope this helps keep you more safe on the road, whether you're on a road trip in your RV or just traveling to the store or during your daily commute to work. This world's crazy and we all need to be more vigilant to keep us and our family safe. Better safe than sorry, for sure. Thank you so much for taking the time to listen. I want to thank Drivin' and Vibin' for bringing this to our attention. I will include the list of safety tips on our website at roaminyourhome.com/safety. Come back each week because I have so many more fun interviews coming up. You won't want to miss these great conversations filled with so many awesome tips and travel information. I learned so much, and I know you will too, so come back each week. Don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and share this episode with anyone who might find it helpful. I look forward to being with you again next week, but until then, stay safe, and I hope to see you on the road. Thanks for listening to this episode of the Roam in Your Home podcast and YouTube channel. If you enjoyed this episode, we'd love it if you would subscribe to our show and consider giving us a 5-star review. It's free and would mean the world to us and help us grow. If you know anyone who would also enjoy this podcast, please share it with a friend. I would also love to connect with you on Instagram or Facebook at Roam in Your Home. Come back next week for another fun adventure, but until then, stay safe and we hope to see you on the road.